Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I am pleased to have you here today. Today, we will be discussing the GMP inspection process. My name is Dr. S.K. Singh, and I hold a PhD in this field. In this presentation, we will explore the key steps involved in GMP inspections, what to expect, and how to prepare effectively. I look forward to sharing insights that will help you navigate this important process with confidence. Let's get started. Let's walk through the typical timetable for a GMP inspection. First, we start with the entry briefing or opening meeting. This is where we set the stage, introduce the team, and clarify the scope of the inspection. Next, we move on to the orientation tour, which allows us to familiarize ourselves with the facility and observe operations firsthand. Then, we proceed to the fact-finding and assessment phase, where we gather data, review records, and evaluate compliance with GMP standards. After that, we review progress against the initial audit plan to ensure we're covering all critical areas. If needed, we implement revised activities to address any emerging issues or focus on specific risks. Once the inspection progresses, we conduct a final review and develop our recommendations based on our findings. This is followed by an exit review with management, which is a closing meeting to discuss preliminary findings and next steps. Finally, we prepare and deliver the report, including a clear timeframe for any corrective actions required. This entire process ensures that we thoroughly evaluate the facility's compliance and help maintain the highest standards in manufacturing practices. All right, let's get started with the essentials for a smooth GMP inspection. First, we'll talk about the location. It's important to know exactly where the inspection will take place so we can prepare accordingly. Next, make sure you have the correct contact information for the key personnel involved, so communication is seamless. Timing is also crucial. Knowing when the inspection is scheduled helps us plan our activities and ensure everything is ready in advance. Introductions are the first step once the inspection begins. They set the tone and help build rapport. Then, we'll go for a walk-round of the facility, which is an opportunity to showcase our operations and demonstrate compliance. Usually, a company escort will guide the inspectors through the site, so it's good to be familiar with who that person is. Finally, I want to touch on the GMP inspection process itself. Understanding the sequence of how inspections are conducted allows us to be prepared for what's to come, and it helps us present our operations confidently and transparently. Remember, the goal is to demonstrate that we follow good manufacturing practices consistently, so every step we take aligns with those principles. Let's take a closer look at what an inspection really entails. First, it's important to remember that an inspection is a systematic approach. This means it's not just about spotting issues randomly, but following a structured process to thoroughly evaluate the area or process in question. It also involves interpersonal skills. This is key because inspections often require effective communication, collaboration, and professionalism to ensure a productive and respectful process. Another critical point is that inspections help identify deficiencies. Catching these issues early can prevent bigger problems down the line, so it's all about finding areas for improvement. Inspectors also look at what went wrong. This helps us understand the root causes of issues, rather than just addressing symptoms. And importantly, inspections require participation from both parties, meaning both the inspector and the person being inspected need to work together. This collaboration fosters transparency and leads to better outcomes. Now, in the context of GMP, or good manufacturing practice inspections, this entire process becomes even more vital. It's a structured process that ensures compliance, quality, and safety in pharmaceutical manufacturing. So, understanding these key points helps us appreciate the importance of a well-conducted inspection in maintaining high standards. Let's take a look at some common methods of fact-finding that are essential in our process. First, we have trace forward, which involves following the trail of information or data from a known point onward to see where it leads. This helps us understand the outcomes or consequences that stem from specific actions or decisions. Next is trace backward, where we start from an endpoint or result and work our way back to identify the root causes or original sources. This reverse approach is particularly useful for uncovering underlying issues. Then, there's the random method, which involves selecting samples or data points unpredictably. This can be effective for gaining unbiased insights or when a comprehensive review isn't feasible. Now, all of these methods are integral parts of the GMP inspection process, which is designed to ensure compliance and quality in manufacturing. When conducting inspections, applying these fact-finding techniques helps us gather accurate, thorough information. By combining these approaches, we create a robust framework for identifying issues, understanding their origins, and ensuring that standards are maintained across the board. So, understanding and choosing the right fact-finding method is key to effective inspections and overall quality assurance. Let's talk about asking questions. Open questions are a powerful tool in any conversation, especially during inspections. They typically start with words like what, why, when, how, where, or who. These words encourage detailed responses rather than simple yes or no answers, allowing us to gather more information and understand the situation better. Sometimes, silence can be incredibly powerful. Pausing after a question gives the other person time to think and can lead to more insightful answers. Now, in the context of GMP inspections, understanding the process is crucial. When we ask the right questions, we're not just checking boxes, we're engaging in a meaningful dialogue that helps ensure compliance and quality. Remember, the goal is to assess whether the processes are effective and identify areas for improvement. So, using open questions and strategic silence helps us conduct thorough and constructive inspections, all while keeping the overall process transparent and professional. Let's talk about good listening, starting with the first step: stop talking. It might sound simple, but often we get so caught up in our own thoughts that we forget to truly listen. Helping the speaker feel free to talk is crucial. This means creating an environment that's welcoming and non-judgmental. Be approachable, smile, use open body language, and make eye contact. Show the speaker that you're genuinely interested in what they have to say. A little nod or a simple "I see" can go a long way. Also, it's important to remove distractions. Silence your phone, close unnecessary tabs, so you can focus fully. Try to understand the speaker's point of view, even if it differs from your own. This helps build trust and makes the conversation more productive. Now, connecting this to the GMP inspection process. Listening attentively during inspections ensures you capture all details accurately and respond appropriately. Good listening isn't just about hearing words, it's about understanding the message behind them. And that's key to successful communication in our work environment. Good listening is a crucial part of effective communication, especially during GMP inspections. So let's go over some key points to help us listen more attentively. First, be patient. It's important to give the inspector time to ask questions and process information. Holding your temper is equally vital. Stay calm, even if the questions are challenging or unexpected. Try not to criticize the inspector or their questions, because that can create unnecessary tension. Instead, ask questions yourself to clarify any uncertainties. You want to make sure you understand what's being asked. Also, remember to stop, look, and listen. This means paying full attention to the inspector's words, body language, and tone. All of these elements help you respond appropriately and demonstrate your professionalism. Now, connecting this to the GMP inspection process. Effective listening is fundamental because it ensures you accurately understand the inspection points, which in turn helps you respond correctly and confidently. Keeping these habits in mind will make the entire inspection process smoother and more productive. When taking notes, it's important to remember to include details and facts. Think of it as trusting your observations, but always verifying the information later to ensure accuracy. Instead of jotting down broad generalizations, focus on capturing specific details that give a clear picture of what's happening. Record what you actually see and hear, because these specifics are crucial for understanding the full context. Always double-check your notes to make sure they're accurate, because precision matters a lot in GMP inspections. Stay open-minded. Your notes should reflect what's truly happening, without assumptions or biases. Keeping these points in mind will help you create reliable and useful notes throughout the GMP inspection process, which is essential for maintaining quality and compliance. Now, let's talk about what you should actually record during your GMP inspection. First, it's essential to document who you interview, so make sure to note down the persons involved. Next, keep track of document numbers related to the process or procedures you're reviewing, as this helps ensure traceability. Recording equipment numbers is also crucial, especially when assessing machinery or tools used in production. Additionally, item identification is important so you can clearly specify what specific products or components you're inspecting. And of course, don't forget to document the entire GMP inspection process itself, capturing observations, findings, and any deviations. All of these points are key to maintaining a thorough and organized record, which ultimately supports compliance and effective audit trails. Remember, capturing accurate information here ties back to the overall goal of ensuring product quality and regulatory adherence. Let's go over some important points on what to record during an inspection. First, we need to carefully document the selection of document recipients. This helps ensure that the right people are reviewing the correct information. Next, it's important to observe and note the condition of the environment. A clean, organized, and controlled environment is essential for maintaining GMP standards. Then, we should record any changes to facilities, equipment, or other infrastructure. These updates can impact the production process and need proper documentation. The layout of the area is also key. Understanding how everything is arranged can reveal potential issues or areas for improvement. Additionally, look out for any obvious nonconformities. These are deviations from established standards that need to be addressed promptly. Finally, remember the GMP inspection process itself. It's a systematic review where all these observations come together to ensure compliance and quality. Keeping thorough and accurate records throughout this process is vital for maintaining the integrity of the GMP program and supporting continuous improvement. Now, let's talk about how to record effectively. First, using checklists can really help ensure you don't miss any important steps or details. They serve as a quick reference and keep you organized throughout the process. Next, flowcharts or process charts are great tools for visualizing the entire workflow, making it easier to understand complex procedures at a glance. Symbols like a star or a tick are useful for highlighting key points or completed tasks, helping you and others quickly identify what has been done or what's most important. Checks and follow-up are also essential. They ensure that once a task is completed, it's verified, and any necessary follow-up actions are taken to maintain quality and compliance. When documenting the GMP inspection process, these tools become even more valuable. They help maintain clarity, consistency, and thoroughness in your records, which is critical in a regulated environment. Remember, the goal is to create clear, accurate records that support compliance and continuous improvement. All right, let's dive into how to effectively record during GMP inspections. First, it's helpful to keep short notes as reminders for your report. These can be quick bullet points or key observations that you don't want to forget later. Using a tape recorder or a video camera can be very beneficial, especially for capturing detailed conversations or procedures as they happen. Of course, a regular camera can also be useful for taking clear photos of relevant documents or conditions. Remember, the goal is to accurately document the inspection process to ensure compliance and maintain a thorough record. Connecting this to the overall theme, proper recording techniques are essential for transparency and accountability throughout the GMP inspection process. Let's talk about checklists. These are structured tools that help ensure all necessary steps are covered during inspections. They tend to be quite detailed, which is great for consistency. In fact, they often serve as the standard for all full inspections, making sure nothing is missed. Now, one of the biggest advantages of checklists is that they're really useful as a reference. They help inspectors stay on track and ensure that every critical point is considered. Plus, they're excellent for training new inspectors because they provide clear guidance on what to look for. However, there are some downsides too. Relying too heavily on checklists can sometimes lead to overlooking vulnerable areas of quality assurance. Inspectors might focus too much on ticking boxes rather than thinking critically about potential issues that aren't explicitly listed. In the context of the GMP inspection process, checklists are a valuable tool, but they should be used thoughtfully. They support thoroughness, but it's important to remain mindful and adaptable, especially when dealing with complex or unexpected situations. Let's talk about how to effectively use checklists. First, it's important to follow the checklist, but at the same time be prepared to be flexible. Sometimes, things don't go exactly as planned, and being adaptable ensures you can handle any surprises smoothly. Next, checklists are really valuable during the preparation stage. They help you organize your tasks and ensure nothing gets overlooked. They're also great for collecting information and tracking your progress as you move forward. When preparing for an exit meeting, using a checklist helps you cover all necessary points and ensures a smooth conclusion. Similarly, for report preparation, checklists make sure you include all critical data and insights. Now, specifically regarding the GMP inspection process, checklists serve as a roadmap. They guide you through each step, helping you stay organized and confident throughout the inspection. Remember, the goal is to use checklists not just as a routine tool, but as a way to enhance your overall process, keeping everything on track while allowing for flexibility when needed. Now let's look at slide 16, which introduces the concept of the aid memoir. Essentially, this is a simple, short list of actions and aspects that need to be checked during an inspection. The idea is to keep things straightforward and focused, so inspectors can quickly reference key points without getting overwhelmed. The aid memoir is often tailored specifically for each inspection, meaning it can be customized to suit the particular context or areas of focus. It acts as a handy checklist or guide, ensuring nothing important is overlooked during the process. This approach is part of the GMP inspection process, helping to streamline the inspection and maintain consistency. The goal is to make the process more efficient, clear, and organized, ultimately supporting a thorough and effective review. So, in the bigger picture, the aid memoir helps inspectors stay on track and cover all critical points, reinforcing the importance of preparation and focus in GMP inspections. Let's talk about taking samples, which is a crucial part of quality control in our manufacturing process. When we take samples, we can be looking at finished or released products to ensure they meet our standards. We also need to sample raw materials before they go into production to verify quality from the start. In-process materials are sampled during manufacturing to catch any issues early on. The person responsible for sampling can be an inspector or a designated sampler, depending on the process. It's important to determine the number of samples we take, as well as the sample size, to get a representative picture of quality without wasting resources. All sampling activities require proper authorization to ensure they're performed according to protocol. This ties into our GMP inspection process, which oversees that sampling is done correctly and consistently. By maintaining strict sampling procedures, we help ensure the safety, quality, and compliance of our products at every stage. Let's take a look at the objectives of the exit meeting. First, it's really important to communicate our observations clearly. This helps ensure everyone understands what was noted during the inspection. Next, we want to inform management of our findings so they are fully aware of any issues or strengths identified. By doing this, we aim to leave no surprises in the report. Everything should be transparent and straightforward. Now, connecting this to the GMP inspection process, the exit meeting serves as a crucial step. It's where we summarize the inspection, share insights, and align on next steps. This process helps maintain trust and promotes continuous improvement. Ultimately, the goal is to foster open communication, so everyone is on the same page and prepared to address any findings effectively. Let's start by talking about group noncompliances. When preparing for an exit meeting, it's important to identify any issues that have been grouped together. These are often related to similar processes or areas within the operation. Recognizing these groups helps us see the bigger picture and understand patterns of noncompliance. Next, we need to categorize these noncompliances. This categorization is crucial because it allows us to prioritize our responses. Typically, we classify them as critical, major, or minor, depending on their potential impact on product quality and patient safety. Critical noncompliances are the most serious. They could directly affect product safety or efficacy. Major issues are significant but might not immediately threaten safety, though they still require prompt attention. Minor noncompliances are less severe and usually indicate areas for improvement rather than urgent action. Now, let's connect this to the GMP inspection process. During an inspection, identifying and categorizing noncompliances helps guide our focus and response. It also provides a clear framework for discussing findings during the exit meeting. Being organized and transparent about these categories ensures everyone understands the severity and necessary actions. Overall, preparing for the exit meeting by thoroughly understanding these aspects supports a more effective and constructive discussion, ultimately helping us maintain the highest standards of quality. Now, as we prepare for the exit meeting, it's important to anticipate questions and be ready for discussions or debates that might arise. This helps ensure the meeting goes smoothly and that any concerns are addressed promptly. If you're working with a team of inspectors, it's crucial to agree on a spokesperson beforehand. This person will represent the team and communicate key points clearly. Similarly, it's helpful to designate a note-taker who can record the main discussion points and any action items that come up during the meeting. When it comes to the GMP inspection process, these preparations are vital because they demonstrate professionalism and organization. By aligning on these roles and expectations in advance, you can present a unified, confident front. Remember, the goal is to ensure the exit meeting is productive, transparent, and leaves a positive impression. So, thorough preparation, clear communication, and a collaborative attitude are your best tools here. Now, let's take a moment to look at the exit meeting attendees. This is a crucial part of the GMP inspection process because it ensures that everyone involved is on the same page. Typically, you'll see the inspectors present, of course, who have been conducting the review. We also have a senior management representative, someone from leadership who can address concerns and provide high-level insights. Inspected managers and supervisors are usually there as well, because they are directly responsible for the areas under review. Additionally, other interested parties might attend, such as quality assurance or compliance personnel, depending on the scope of the inspection. This meeting is a key opportunity to discuss the findings and clarify any questions. It's also an essential part of the GMP inspection process because it fosters transparency and collaboration. By bringing everyone together, we ensure that the results are clearly communicated and understood, which helps us move forward with corrective actions if needed. Remember, this step ties directly into our overall goal of maintaining the highest standards in our practices and ensuring product quality and safety. Let's talk about running the meeting effectively. As inspectors, it's important that we take the lead in guiding the discussion. Keep your presentation concise, focus on the key points without overloading the team. When it comes to discussion, know when to invite input and when to keep things brief to stay on track. A good practice is to mention the positive points before addressing any deficiencies, as this helps maintain a constructive tone. Understanding the GMP inspection process is crucial, as it ties everything together. Remember, your role is to facilitate a productive meeting that stays focused and collaborative. Let's talk about running the meeting effectively, especially when challenges come up. First, it's important to treat challenges politely. Even if you disagree, maintaining respect keeps the discussion productive. Next, always aim to discuss and resolve conflicts openly. Address issues head-on, but do so in a calm and constructive manner. If you realize you're wrong, don't hesitate to admit it. Acknowledging mistakes can actually strengthen trust and credibility. On the other hand, if you're convinced you're right, don't back down just for the sake of it. Stand your ground when necessary, but always do so respectfully. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's touch on the GMP inspection process. This is a critical part of maintaining quality and compliance. It involves thorough preparation, clear documentation, and consistent adherence to procedures. Remember, how you handle these inspections reflects on the overall integrity of your operations. So whether you're managing a meeting or preparing for an inspection, professionalism and transparency are key. Connecting these points to our broader goal, to ensure quality and compliance, helps us stay on track and maintain trust with regulators and stakeholders alike. Let's talk about writing the inspection report. Each team member is responsible for writing their own part of the report, making sure their observations and findings are clearly documented. The team leader, however, has the overall responsibility for coordinating the report and ensuring all parts come together accurately. Once the report is completed, it must be signed by all team members to confirm their agreement and accountability. After that, the report needs to be approved by the supervisor, which adds an extra layer of oversight and quality control. It's important to remember that this entire process should be completed and submitted to the company within 4 weeks or less. This step is a critical part of the GMP inspection process, as it ensures transparency, accountability, and timely communication. Proper documentation not only helps maintain compliance, but also supports continuous improvement in our operations. So, clear, thorough, and timely reporting is key to a successful inspection. Let's take a moment to walk through the content of this report. First, we start with Part 1, which covers general information about the company. Here, we provide an overview of the company's background, scope, and operational context. Moving on to Part 2, we describe the inspection process itself, what areas were inspected, the methodology used, and the scope of our review. In Part 3, we detail our observations, key findings, both positive aspects and areas needing improvement. This is where we highlight specific points of interest uncovered during the inspection. Then, Part 4 offers our conclusions and recommendations, summarizing the overall assessment and suggesting next steps or corrective actions. Additionally, the report includes annexes that provide supplementary data and documentation to support our findings. Finally, I want to briefly touch on the GMP inspection process, which is crucial to understanding how these evaluations are carried out systematically and thoroughly, ensuring compliance and quality across all stages. This structure ensures our report is comprehensive, clear, and aligned with our overall goal of maintaining high standards in the industry. Let's talk about what to avoid during a GMP inspection. First, it's important to steer clear of subjective opinions. These can introduce bias and aren't based on objective evidence, so stick to facts and documented data. Next, irrelevant information should be left out. Focus on what's directly related to the inspection scope to keep things clear and efficient. Ambiguous statements can cause confusion, so always be precise and clear in your communication. Similarly, avoid antagonistic statements. They can create unnecessary tension. Remember, the goal is to demonstrate compliance and cooperation, not confrontation. Understanding this process is crucial because it reflects our commitment to quality and regulatory standards. Keeping these points in mind helps ensure the inspection runs smoothly and professionally, aligning with our overall goal of maintaining high standards in our operations. On this slide, I want to talk about the style of report that was used during the GMP inspection process. We focused on a clear and straightforward approach, making sure the report was easy to understand and based on factual information. The report summarized the key findings from the inspection, highlighting both strengths and areas for improvement. The process involved documenting observations, evidence, and any deviations observed during the inspection. It was important to keep everything objective and factual, avoiding any unnecessary jargon or assumptions. By maintaining this simple and factual style, we ensured that the report served as a reliable record of what was inspected and what was found. To summarize, the key points were clarity, accuracy, and objectivity. This approach helped us communicate effectively and supported continuous improvement in our GMP practices. Overall, this style of report played a crucial role in maintaining transparency and ensuring compliance throughout the inspection process. Let's take a closer look at what a comprehensive report with a covering letter to the company should include. First, it's important to clearly outline any corrective actions that need to be taken. This ensures everyone understands what steps are necessary to address any issues identified. Next, we should specify the time limits for implementing these actions, so there's a clear deadline to work towards. Another key point is handling confidential information carefully. This means ensuring sensitive data is protected and only shared with authorized parties. Additionally, the report should outline procedures for the exchange of reports, facilitating smooth communication between all stakeholders. We also need to be aware of the regulatory measures that may come into play if corrective actions are not implemented promptly. This highlights the importance of compliance and the potential consequences of noncompliance. Finally, I want to emphasize the GMP inspection process itself, understanding how inspections are conducted, what inspectors look for, and how to prepare effectively. All of these elements tie back to our overall goal of maintaining quality, safety, and regulatory adherence in our operations. Let's talk about regulatory measures, which are primarily dependent on the legislation of each country. When it comes to new plants, authorities often require a manufacturing license or GMP certificate before operations can begin. If a facility doesn't meet the necessary compliance standards, they won't receive these approvals initially. For existing license or certificate holders, regulatory bodies have several tools to ensure ongoing compliance. These include issuing warnings if standards aren't met, imposing fines as penalties, or even suspending or withdrawing marketing authorizations for specific products. In more serious cases, the manufacturing license or GMP certificate itself can be suspended or revoked. It's important to note that companies do have access to appeal these decisions, which provides a fair process for addressing any disputes. Now, regarding the GMP inspection process, regulators conduct thorough inspections to verify compliance with good manufacturing practices. This process is crucial because it ensures that products are manufactured in a controlled and consistent manner, safeguarding public health. Overall, these measures form a comprehensive framework to maintain high standards in pharmaceutical manufacturing, aligning with the overarching goal of protecting patient safety and ensuring product quality. For further support, please contact us. We're here to help you with any questions or additional information you might need after this presentation. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. I appreciate your engagement and look forward to assisting you further if needed.